Thousands of people in Texas are still recovering from Hurricane Harvey, and now people in Florida are bracing for what looks like another massive storm. Hurricane Irma is still hundreds of miles away from the continental United States, and there are still questions about where it might make landfall. Here's what Florida Governor Rick Scott said about the storm Tuesday night.
We are preparing for Irma to directly impact our state, and while it's still too early to tell exactly where the storm will hit, it is incredibly important that all Floridians keep a close eye on this incredibly dangerous storm. If there is an evacuation order in your area, please follow it. I cannot stress it enough. If there's evacuation ordered, follow it. Remember, we can rebuild your home, but we cannot rebuild your life.
Bill Reed is the former director of the National Hurricane Center. He joins me now via Skype from League City, Texas. So, Bill, we saw how much devastation Harvey left in Texas. What kind of damage can a Category 5 storm do if it hits Florida?
I think the word unimaginable is the one that would come to mind for me. You got to realize that the kind of wind speeds we're seeing in Irma, if they were to continue wherever they make landfall, certainly in the islands tonight, that's doing damage that we relate to in tornadoes as an EF 3 and 4 over a wide area. So it would be really bad.
I think it's hard for people to even understand when you see this Saffir-Simpson hurricane scale, which we're showing our viewers right now. That word catastrophic is really quite alarming. People near you are still recovering from Hurricane Harvey. What should people in Florida be doing right now to prepare for Irma?
Well, I think you probably see, I've seen on your news and elsewhere that the people are collecting the things they need to ride out a hurricane. You still need to wait a while, I think, on the evacuation. Listen to what your officials say on that, because there's still uncertainty exactly where this northward turn is going to occur and who might get in the eye wall of the storm or not. But you need to be ready to evacuate if you're in an evacuation zone, and you need to be ready to protect yourself, your life in general, if you're riding it out should the storm come your way.
So Irma is supposed to hit islands in the Caribbean early Wednesday. Could that change the potential impact it could make on Florida?
Well, the islands that it's crossing over now are small. I don't think they're going to have an effect on the structure of the hurricane. I really fear for what's going to happen in places like Antigua and Barbuda tonight, and then early tomorrow, and places like St. Martin and Anguilla, and then the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. It's going to be awful. As long as the center of the core of the storm stays away from the big islands like Hispaniola and Cuba, I don't see a real reason why it won't stay intense.
Well, in case Harvey and Irma were not bad enough, we now have Tropical Storm Jose, which is also formed in the Atlantic. How closely do we need to be paying attention to that storm as well?
Well, looking at the Hurricane Center's forecast, it is dismaying to see it come across in 4 or 5 days, be out a potential threat to the same islands that are going to get run over tonight. Even a much weaker storm, they won't need that after the impact they're going to get from Irma.
And Bill, just based on your experience, I'm curious, when you talk about evacuations, as you spoke of a moment ago, what is the window here we're looking at for really understanding when is the last possible moment people who are in potentially the path of Irma need to try and start leaving the area?
Folks in Florida need to rely on the expertise of their emergency managers and elected officials. They're trained in doing this, and they're looking at all the timelines. They'll probably start moving the keys pretty early if maybe some people are self-evacuating already, because it's right in the center of the cone right now. Some communities take less time than others because they're evacuating for the threat of storm surge. So I urge people to pay attention to what those emergency managers are saying.
All right. Former director of the National Hurricane Center, Bill Reed. Bill, thanks very much.
Thank you.